Do you want to align with God's vibes, adapt to a spirit-led lifestyle, and live out of the fullness of God's plans and purposes for your life? This podcast is for you. The good news I have for you is that your time is now. It's time to transform self-sabotage into self-mastery and revolutionize your world. If you're ready to go beyond the ordinary and break out into the extraordinary life God designed for you, you're in the right place. In the God's Vibes podcast, you will find the freedom and permission to stop chasing success the world's way and simply be who God formed, shaped, and anointed you to be. My name is Juliana Page, and my mission is to lead you on the ultimate adventure, aligning and tracking with God so you can radically transform your life from the inside out and build spirit-driven success. Using life coaching and biblical and prophetic teaching, I'll show you what it means to dwell in the good land God ordained for your life and train you to be a powerful person who is a walking testimony of what's possible with God. Subscribe to God's Vibes for spirit-filled real talk, hard-hitting truth with a humorous touch that will help you discover who you are in God, dare to press through your seeming limitations, and chart a divine path that will renew your dreams and transform your future. It's time to experience true freedom through courage, faith, and self-mastery. I dare you to step out in faith and courageously dive into the purposeful life of trusting God for the impossible. Let's go. What's good, Faith Walkers? Welcome back to the God's Vibes podcast. We have some exciting news. The God's Vibes Mastermind starts on Monday. It starts on Monday, June 3rd. So if you are just hearing this, maybe you're hearing it on a Saturday, maybe you're hearing it on a Sunday, maybe you're even listening on Monday, June 3rd. If any of those apply to you and you're not sure what to do, number one, you can click the link in the show notes for the mastermind and follow those steps. Or two, you can email info@julianapage.com, the God's Vibes Mastermind as your subject, and we will make sure that you are routed exactly where you need to go and get your questions answered. But let me talk to you a little bit about this mastermind. If you've not done this, I believe it's episode 409. There's a God's Vibes Mastermind marathon episode where we have quite a few folks that were brave enough to share their experience and come on the podcast. We bundled all those together. There are so many more. We also had Shelby recently share her testimony of what happened, and she literally gave up so many different vices in her life and went all in with God and is in a completely different life right now. Literally just moved across the country, getting settled right now as we speak. So completely changed her life and accelerated into a beautiful God adventure. So this is what can happen when you get plugged into the God's Vibes Mastermind. It is such a beautiful community. We believe that it's divinely orchestrated. Like God knows exactly who's being led there, who's going to be in there, what they're going to encounter, what they even need. We've had so many people on grief journeys together, so many people on healing journeys together, so many people on such beautiful transformational journeys, but together. And it's just so humbling to recognize that God knows the details and he knows how to connect us and to who we need to be connected with and what tools we're going to need to walk through what we're going to walk through. And he orchestrates it so perfectly. So I just encourage you, if you've been hearing about the God's Vibes Mastermind, if the testimonies of what people have been expressing has moved you in some kind of way, invest in this program. It is currently 30% off. Okay, so once enrollment closes, you're not able to access the mastermind and that enrollment sale goes away. Okay, so you're getting this insider scoop right here. So it's 30% off. We do offer financing, so finance should not be the reason that you are not a part of this program. And when you think about what happens in this program, it is designed to be 3 months in length, but you actually get access to it for an entire year. And I just want to give you a sense of what's happening. You're getting weekly live group coaching every single Thursday morning. Every Thursday morning. You have access to the entire training content that is the Mastermind. You get the Courage Code training bundle as a bonus, so an entire year of training on demand on top of that. You get 2 bonus courses, which people really love. There's just so many hidden gems in those. You get all sorts of journal prompts and guided meditations and hidden bonuses in this program. We also send you the 52 card declaration deck, which we love. Just how God uses that is really amazing. So there are bonuses for days. This entire program is over $15,000 worth of value, and you're not paying anywhere near that. Essentially, you're paying around $160 a month if you think about it that way, which you can barely pay that for one call with a therapist today, okay? Just to give you an idea. And you are getting so much value. And just think about some of these transformations that are happening after years of not being able to get a breakthrough, and suddenly you uproot and change your entire life. I think that's worth it. You can't even put a dollar amount on that. So I just want to encourage you, the God's Vibes Mastermind, this is our signature program inside Courage Co. If you want to go beyond the Mastermind into other programs, you also get a significant discount into those programs. It's just something we love to do. So keep this in mind. If you have a desire to renew your mind, to really stand strong in your identity in Christ, to have inner healing, heart healing, emotional healing, to embrace your mental health, to really get healthy and whole from the inside out, this is the program. This is all about your inner man and doing the work and letting God do a beautiful work in you. You will not be the same in 3 months, in 6 months, a year from now. And that would be the best gift ever to give yourself or somebody you know. We've been known to sponsor people into the Mastermind, and it's just quite supernatural, I must say. So, doing something that is void of purpose is playing small. Doing something that is void of purpose is playing small. And we've got a word on this today. But if you're going to do what you're called to do, aka great exploits with the Lord, we have to have a great sense of identity. We just do. And identity forms what you dare to achieve or dare not to. So it really is your decision to make to fully embrace your divine identity. And identity establishes us in our sense of capability to carry out our calling. And it's also extremely difficult to shift, which is why we need God and also why we need an incredible amount of courage. We have to be very strong and very courageous to do what it is that we're called to do. And courage is the powerful force that enables us to overcome obstacles, to fight for what's right, to do service for others, to drive change, and ultimately become who we're truly designed to be. Hence Courage Co. Courage Co. is truly a movement of faith walkers who have decided that they are going to be the change agents in their life, that they're going to be ambassadors for Christ, that they're not going to make excuses, that they're not going to be powerless people, but powerful people. And they're here to live their most courageous and impactful story, whatever that looks like for them. And courage is the management of and the triumph over fear. It's the decision in a moment of peril or day in and day out to take ownership, to assert the agency that you have over a situation, over yourself, and over the fate that everyone else has resigned themselves to. We can curse the darkness, we can make excuses, or we can fan the flame within and become hotter. We can wait for somebody else to come and save us, or we can decide to take a stand and deliver ourselves. So which one's it going to be for you? Every hero faces this choice, this critical turning point in their life, this moment of truth. Will you be courageous? Will you heal? Will you leave the abuse? Will you be real and break out of denial? Will you stop saying you're okay when you're not okay? Will you put yourself out there? Will you be the one that dares to go for it? Will you stop complaining about a reality that you hate and have the courage to change it? Will you ask for help? Will you reveal your character? One of the most debilitating struggles that I had was addiction, right? While I managed to be a high-functioning addict, right, with an out-of-control eating disorder back in the day, no one seemed to notice that, and I knew that it was squandering my life. So I know what it is to deal with that level of self-hate, self-sabotage, fear of the unknown. I intimately know it. Okay? And I knew at that time too that I was squandering my life, but yet I couldn't stop and I didn't have skills to change. And that's a terrifying place to be, one that I would never wish upon anybody. But I was powerless, legitimately. I was helpless and I didn't know how to change my life. And there was no amount of self-help or therapy, I'd tried both of those, that could shake the grip that this had on my life. So I was literally being controlled by an addiction is what it felt like. And it was out of control. Yet on the outside, it looked like everything was in control. So it was very, very uncomfortable. And so my Bible mentor, Paul, he nailed it when he said, I do not understand what I do, for what I do not want to do, I do. Right? I do what I hate and I don't do what I want to do. So I didn't know how I would change, but I had this mustard seed of hope that it was possible with God. So I made the choice to surrender what I couldn't control into the most capable hands in the universe. I don't want this. I hate what this is creating in my life. I hate who this has turned me into, and I hate what it's blocked me from accessing. Literally every dream or desire, healthy relationships, a life of freedom and wholeness, joy, peace, right? Like a life without all of this inner turmoil and fear and striving and worthlessness and powerlessness. Like it just was such a heavy and oppressive existence every day that I was in a prison, really of my own making, right? And I couldn't get out of it. I don't want to perpetuate fear. I don't want to perpetuate trauma and pain and dysfunction. I don't want to become the things that I've been running from. God, help me change. Have mercy on me. Take this from me and help me change. I will do whatever you tell me to do, but help me to change. I will tell you that courageous surrender, just in the privacy of my home, opened the way for my steps to be ordered. Quite literally. Not only was I literally delivered in that moment, I didn't realize it until the next morning, but I was literally delivered at that moment, and the plan was revealed. The door opened for me to lead in a Christ-centered recovery group. I was guided to commit to an 8-week no sugar diet to get my body back into a really healthy state and my hormones back in check. I bought a Bible and invested in actively developing my relationship with God daily, and I finally started my writing career. All the things that I could not seem to do before this moment, I suddenly was graced to now do. I worked every step presented by grace, and God continued to faithfully meet me, heal my heart, and guide me into his plans and purposes for my life. Now, this is a testimony of what's possible with God. If you too are struggling with an addiction, and listen, this hurt, habit, or hang up that you have in your life, maybe even addiction, it could be to work. It could be to food. It could be to alcohol. It could be to procrastination. It could be to overthinking. It could be to worry and fear. It could be to comparison and jealousy. It could be to being in denial and lying to yourself, right? There's so many sabotage patterns that we can nurture and cultivate, and that's not what we want to master in life, and it literally is a prison of our own making. And so if cowardice is failure to run your race, then courage is the decision to step up and show up, one day at a time, one step at a time, and one moment at a time. It is answering the call. It's overriding the fear and seizing your destiny. Doing the thing you cannot do because it needs to be done. With fortitude, with the Spirit of God, with guts, with grits, even if you have no idea if you will succeed and how this is going to turn out. This will not be easy, but we cannot fear. It says so many times in the Bible, do not fear, do not fear, do not fear. Why do you think it says that? Because when you take a detour into fear, you destroy your life. We must meet these moments and seize them. Our destiny is here, and it's here now. Okay, so when I'm sharing this story, this is at the heart of how the Mastermind was birthed. The Mastermind didn't come out of, this has been years in the making. Let me just put it that way. Okay, this mastermind is anointed. It is full of revelation and breakthrough. People that get in there accelerate, they break through, they transform. It's just, they start to experience the very anointing that's been on my life as well. The very things that have been imparted to me, they experience too, without having to go through all the pain and all the years that it took me. What a blessing. This is the beautiful thing about the kingdom, right? So in the world, you have to go spend years learning. Right? You have to go get all this education. You have to do all this. But when you get around somebody in the kingdom, an anointed leader, they can impart things to you. Okay? So literally in a moment, you can receive what it took that person years to get to. That is absolutely insane. Who would not want that, right? Like, get in the room. When you have opportunities like that, get in the room. So here's what I can give you. This mastermind is something that can support you in taking the self-sabotage cocktail of chaos, confusion, and strife in any area of your life and fully turn it around. And I believe in being very intentional in what we consume, what we surround ourselves with, and what we energetically saturate ourselves in. And this is why I say God's Vibes Matter. This is also the reason why I created the God's Vibes Mastermind. It's about creating success differently. Spirit-driven success, where you partner with God in every area of your life and you get God's results. And it's time. Right now, it is time. If you're not on the insider list, get on the insider list. I just released a word for June, okay? So it is time to step into all you're made to be in the second half of 2024. There is more still in 2024, and we are going for it, and we're going to be the people that can steward it well. The God's Vibes Mastermind includes 32 hours of content in 65 plus video training sessions with so many bonuses. It's ridiculous. And this round, I'm doing something extra special. I bundled all of our requested bonuses in one place. Okay, so the mastermind is marked at 30% off and includes all of the bonuses to you just for free. Okay, the bonuses themselves are $2,000 plus. Okay. The price of this program comes down to like $3 a video if you really want to get your math in, okay? And you get the weekly coaching and access to a 3-month mastermind for an entire year. That actually means that you can go through it 4 times, technically, okay? Or, if you go on vacation or if you have a busy life right now, that is okay. You can still saturate yourself in this. And every time you go through, similar to reading your word, more revelation comes forth. Different things are highlighted to you, okay? So this is the lowest price, the lowest price that we've gotten this down to, okay? And the time is now to get plugged in. Like I said, we do also have financing available if that is something that you need, and we can get you set up with that too. So you've got to enroll by Monday, June 3rd. That's when we're shutting it down and you can't get back in there, okay? So prep week right now, if you enroll, it is live. Prep week is the jam. This is some of the folks' favorite part of the program. It's worth the program to them in a lot of ways. Just literally your first week of preparing you for the mastermind and the content that is there is life-changing. So that is open. You can officially enroll and start in on that. And you can start with us literally next week for your first call. Okay? So if you want to listen to other people's testimonies, go back and listen to that marathon episode. You can also look up Mastermind in a search on the podcast and find all of these different individual interviews as well. Okay? But really, we're here to champion you into your big, beautiful God journey. You are designed to be supported. You are designed to be championed in this. You are designed to be prayed for. You are designed to have people interceding for you and rooting for you, not competing with you. You are designed to have a community of people around you wanting and helping you thrive. Okay? That is available in the God's Vibes Mastermind. I really, really deeply from the bottom of my heart encourage you to enroll now and also consider sponsoring people. We definitely make sure that we can offer sponsorships to people as well. So a couple of folks just got in that way. And so if that ever is on your heart to do, we've had a lot of alumni do that, but that is something that's available to do as well. And again, just to recap on some of the bonuses, you get the God's Vibes Mastermind workbook. So you get that access to that workbook as you go through all of the videos. You get the Courage Co Masterclass bundle, which is an entire bundle of trainings for an entire year and interviews as well. Absolutely amazing. If you just listen to one training all the way through, that would be worth that bundle. But you get the entire bundle for free. You get two courses. You get the 30-day God's Vibes Matter devotional, the 52-card declaration deck, and all of these other journal prompts and meditations that are inside the mastermind. So make sure that you make your move. Click on the link in the show notes. If you have questions at all, email info@julianapage.com. We will get it straight and get you situated and make it super simple. Okay? Let's move into the word for today, shall we? I think we shall. That sounds like a fabulous idea. So let's talk about it. I hope that message really did encourage you. But if you are scared to make a change, we're going there today. We're going to talk about how you can really embrace this life that you deserve. I know that for a long time, I felt like I was just future tripping is what I call it. I just lived with so much anxiety. I didn't even know that that's what it was, but I was constantly looking at the future without God in it. I was playing out all the worst case scenarios and then getting really worked up about that, and then trying to figure out how to anticipate all those and prepare for that happening, because that would be the worst thing. So you have to have things in place in case that did happen. It was just the most uncomfortable, awful existence, but I didn't know anything else. That's what was trained, right? That just was life. Like I thought life was just chaos, and that had been life, but that's not life. I didn't know how to create my reality. I really very much as I didn't want to, I felt like a victim of a lot of things that were just absolutely not okay, right? Like trauma is not your fault. A lot of dysfunction that's passed on to you is not your fault, but it can feel like you're a victim of it, especially when you don't have tools to change it yet. Okay. And so you feel like you're behind in life before you get any traction. And that is so frustrating. It's why we go out of our way to be so generous with accessible pricing and programs and different levels of access and programs. And we're super generous with our time on all of the calls just to make sure people are supported and that they're able to be empowered to change their life. Because it's so awful when you don't feel like you can and you don't have tools and support to make changes. So if you are scared to make a change, we see you. We get it, okay? But we're going to talk about this today, how you can literally embrace the life that you deserve instead of feeling like you're future tripping every day, instead of constantly being worried about the unknown and the government and the world and all the things that are happening and all the distractions that are readily available for you to indulge in and all the detours into fear that you can take. We are not going to do that. We're going to talk about how you can embrace the life you deserve. Okay, so here's an encouragement that I have. If you can see it, and I'm talking with your eyes of faith, if you can see it, you can be it. You can literally be the person that co-creates that with God. And if you can be it, you can create that. So if you can see it, you can be it. And if you can be it, you can create it. Okay, this is why it's so important. I was just talking about identity. This is why it is so important that you see what it is that God has in store for you, because without this vision, we perish. We need a vision of something to pursue. We need a vision of something that makes life worthwhile, that makes it worth showing up for every day. We need something to run after with endurance. Otherwise, what are we doing? Life feels so empty, right? So we need that vision, but we have to be the people that can co-create that vision with God. We got to be the people that can actually create that. And if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to be able to believe in the vision or be the person required to create that and steward it well, to literally manage it and dominate in that thing. Okay? So I want to give you an interesting way to think about this. Can you think about a person who just really made you feel seen, special, significant in your life? Like you just felt like they saw you, like you felt so loved, so valuable, so appreciated. Maybe you can think of somebody immediately, like just this person just pops in your head. Maybe they're in your life now and you're super blessed in that way. Maybe it's somebody from when you were really young, growing up when you were a kid. Or maybe it's been a coach or a teacher. And sometimes people have had the reverse. But think about right now, I challenge you to think about somebody that really, really saw you and made you feel so seen, so valuable, so significant. The way this person looks at you or looked at you just made you feel like you were special. like you mattered. And it made you feel like you were going to be or do something great in the world. That you were born for a reason and that you have a wonderful destiny that you're going to fulfill and be so proud of. You're going to do great things in this world. Like you're an amazing human and you're going to do great things in this world. Can you picture this person? You're blessed. You're blessed, right? Can you picture this person? If you can, if somebody has been in your life and made you feel this way, you are blessed, okay? The first person that came to mind for me, like thankfully, I can think of many people now, but for a long time I really couldn't. And I couldn't even access this memory for a long time that I'm going to share with you. But the person that came to my mind is P-Pop. So P-Pop was, I am adopted. So this was my adoptive mother's father, okay? So he was my grandpa. However, when I was really young and growing up, I couldn't say grandpa, so I called him P-Pop. And then everyone started calling him that, right? So the name P-Pop stuck, okay? And me and P-Pop had a vibe going on, okay? P-Pop was the dude, all right? When he was on babysitting duty, it was like the best thing ever, okay? Like we would make it feel like it was miserable, right? But then it was like when the parents left, then it was like we're out of control, right? So he would have Hershey Kisses for us instead of our vitamins. So we lived in the country, so we had to take all sorts of interesting vitamins because we had well water and, you know, all sorts of things. So we didn't like our vitamins, but we had to take all these vitamins. So instead of that, he would give us Hershey Kisses just to be comical, and we just enjoyed it. He would let us ride. He had a station wagon. And so if we went to get fast food sometimes, because we were never allowed to have fast food growing up. And there was a place that you would go to. It was called Rudy's Hot Dog, I think. So he would let us ride down the street to Rudy's Hot Dog, facing backwards in the station wagon, just so we could feel super rebellious, right? Then he could be counted on to let us wear sandals when it was beneath 65 degrees outside. Like the rule in our house was we weren't allowed to wear our sandals unless it was 65 degrees. So we would literally go outside and look at this big thermometer on the wall and wait for it to hit 65 degrees so we could put sandals on. But he would let us just run around with sandals anytime we wanted to. And he was a pro at putting our hair back into ponytails. Like he could do our hair. It was amazing. And he would always play along with whatever thing that we came up with. If we were playing with our dolls, if we were invested in some sort of shenanigans, right? I can even picture one time we somehow, this must have been on a holiday, but we somehow did not, there was not an opening in our chimney. Which then, you know, you have like the backdraft and it's not good, right? So meanwhile, this is like potentially a major problem, okay? So people are working on it, but we are on walkie-talkies with P-Pop running around our house just having a time while there's actually a crisis in the house. But he could be counted on to embrace our shenanigans. He was also the best at giving hugs, and he had a big old belly. So if we ever needed to climb up on his lap or just take a nap, he could be counted on. So P-Pop was the guy. When our world was falling apart, he brought life back to it. He lit up the room. He looked right at us and really made sure we were seen and we were cared for on the inside, not just the outside. Not just the outside. And he passed away pretty tragically growing up. And it was just, you know, our family very much crumbled after that. But I'm just curious for you. Do you have that person or know somebody like this? And if you do, just for a second, picture that person's face. Picture how they looked at you. Picture how they interacted with you. Picture how they made you feel. Picture what it was like just being in their presence. Picture that. And I want to tell you something about that person. They were right. They were right about you. Do not ever forget that or question that. They loved you, they believed in you, and they saw who you truly were, who you truly are. And here's what they'll always be a reminder of for you. You were born to do something great with your life. And finding out what that is one of the greatest days of your life. When you discover what the win is for you. You're born to win, but what is the win here for you? I love thinking about this, right? Like, think about being that person that this special person in your life could see. Be that person They can see it in you, and it is still in you. And when you get clear, whether that's, the impact that you want to make, how you want to contribute to the world, building generational wealth, the memories that you're going to create, or emotions that you want to feel, getting clear on what winning means to you changes everything in your life. And I was coaching a client just the other day, and she came to a long revelatory pause during our sessions. These are some of my favorite moments. God knows how to just perfectly, divinely orchestrate these moments, right? But she just came to this long pause where revelation was whacking her, okay? And she's been working with a Big Four firm in product engineering for the past 10 years. This is not what she thought she was going to do. She just constantly, every year after year after year, kept thinking she was going to leave, kept thinking she was going to pursue these things that she loves and that she enjoys, right? And so she was sitting there reflecting on another year, right? About to go into a whole nother year, and she just felt so restless and unsettled, right? And here's what she said. She said, I don't want to just produce outcomes and live drained. Like, I'm done just producing all day, and it feels like it doesn't even matter, and nobody's listening, and we're not getting anywhere. This doesn't even feel like significant in any kind of way. Like, I don't want to just produce. And I had said, right, what about creating? What if you traded producing for creating? And of course it was like, well, obviously, let's go do that. That sounds fabulous. But the problem for her was that instead of being excited at that proposition, she was terrified, literally terrified. You could see it in her face. Change is terrifying, is what she said. I offered to her, well, that's one option. That is one option. But what if leaping into the unknown was one of the most exhilarating, life-giving, courageous, and impactful things you've ever done? What if that were the journey? Well, I can't see that. How do I start to see that? Well, if you too can't see your future, one that's compelling, you've got to get free enough so that you've got room to explore it, to discover it, and to create it. You will not ever see your future if you keep running from it or if you keep yourself too busy to start exploring it. And the reason you can't see a life of creating and thriving is because you haven't put your focus and your energy and your resources there. You keep putting them into things that aren't giving you life back. So in order to create something new, you've got to start training and being somebody new, which literally means you are activating more of who it is that you actually are, who God formed, shaped, and anointed you to be. You don't have to go find that person or go read more self-help. Like, that version of you is in you. You usually have to prune and cut off parts of you that are not serving you. And remember who you are and activate that. Okay, so you're doing more from within. Okay, you're doing more with who it is that you know you can be versus who you don't want to be. And you're doing something new and reflecting on what fits and what doesn't in your life. You're not just letting life happen to you and accepting it, right? You're actually a disruptor. You're changing your reality. As I was encouraging her, she said, well, what if I fail? Okay, well, pause. Like, what does that even mean, right? When you even think about this in your own life, what does it mean to fail? So what if failure was just the first attempt at trying something and you simply embrace it? Of course you're going to fail, whatever that means. Like, of course it's not going to go exactly the way you thought, or it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to be able to control every single outcome. Of course you're going to quote unquote fail in that way. It's not going to look exactly how you picture it. It's probably going to be better. But what could you gain in just being willing to step out anyway? In undergraduate school, I was studying journalism, Spanish, and economics management. It was a time. But while studying journalism, I interviewed so many humans, which was really actually very fun for me. I loved that. But some of my favorites were those that were, older in years, and they were evaluating their lives. So picture even going to a senior home, something like that, okay? But the wisdom nuggets they'd share were profound, and not many people are willing to sit and just listen and receive. But when asking them about what they regret and what they were most proud of, it was like discovering a gold mine, what these people would share. So you want to know what nearly all of them said they regretted most? It's so crazy that it was so similar, literally across the board. Totally different humans, but across the board they said the same things. Not taking time to discover who they are and what matters most to them, just following some prescribed plan that they thought they had to follow and never challenging that. Working all the time and not investing in close, deep relationships with their spouse, with their partner, with their family, with their kids, with their friends. Like literally, they don't even have a relationship with their kids. They don't even know their kids because they were so busy working. And they just, provided for the kids maybe in some cases, or just passed them off to somebody else, or just let them fend for themselves, but they didn't actually have a relationship and they weren't present in their lives. Not going for dreams that were in their heart. They had so many ideas and things that they felt led to do, but they didn't pursue a single one of them. And playing it safe and going through the motions without a sense of purpose or significance. They never explored their relationship with God. They never explored what really feels meaningful and significant to them. Some of them didn't even travel. They just got comfortable and started to plug and play every day. And yeah, the future is scary because of the unknown, but what I don't want is to sit with a series of regrets like that, right? I'd rather have a whole movie of these amazing memories and things that I attempted, things that I conquered, ways that I impacted people, right? The future is scary because it's unknown, because you haven't practiced picturing it yet, right? How could you move towards something you can't see? You can't. But if you can see it, you can be it. And if you can be it, you can create it. So here are some ways to get clear on what you desire. If this is resonating with you, here are some ways to get clear. You can get clear. And if you can get clear, that's really what you need, right? Because we are believers first before doers. It doesn't say be an achiever or be a doer. It says be a believer. Okay? So here's some ways to get clear on what you desire. Journal prompts. Okay, I get it. If you don't like journaling, I understand. However, journaling is one of the most accelerated ways to get a picture of what's happening on the inside of you. And it is a beautiful way to start empowering yourself by asking yourself really powerful questions and giving yourself really dynamic prompts that you can get all sorts of beautiful answers to. So actually giving yourself a question or a journal prompt, right? Just grab a journal, turn on some music, maybe find your favorite drink, coffee, tea, whatever that is for you, and open up your heart for some deep questions. Open up your heart for that. Examples. If I could get paid to create the most compelling life, literally somebody is paying you just to live a compelling life, what would you create? What would you create? If everything were already provided for, do not entertain, well, how's that going to happen? Do not do that right now. Just literally that part is paid for. Somebody is paying for you to live a compelling life. What does that look like? If you're I want to go buy a yacht. Okay, well, maybe that's not compelling enough. Go deeper. Go deeper. If you could get paid to create the most compelling life, what would you create? If you could be excellent at anything, what would you want to be? If somebody gave your eulogy, was reading this out loud before a room full of people, what would you want them to share about you? Come on, I promise you, if you actually write those prompts down on a piece of paper and dare to answer them, what you see on that paper will be quite compelling for you. So journal prompts. Number 2, play dates. 100% you have permission to play. We don't really bully ourselves into a breakthrough or shame ourselves into a breakthrough or condemn ourselves into a breakthrough. We might have had some interesting folks in our life that punished us into breakthroughs, but that's not the way that you break through, okay? You can actually have compassion and love yourself and support yourself into a breakthrough, and I have found that that actually maximizes and accelerates your results. So play dates, play. Why? Because the joy of the Lord is your strength. Why not have some joy in all of your work? Right? Life is already serious. How about you bring some relief to it? So set up time on your calendar to play. I'm talking every week. Every week. Okay? Permission to play. Just like you prioritize everything else, prioritize learning about who are you? Who are you? You're not going to discover who you are if you're not giving yourself any opportunities to try something on and just see how it goes. Like, what are your hobbies? I don't know. I don't have any. Put some on your calendar. Start figuring out, what do you like? What is fun for you, right? Start doing that. Prioritize that just like you would prioritize anything else. Prioritize learning about you and learning what it is that you do enjoy. I remember when I first started doing this, it felt super weird, but I started coming up with all these tests. I would go to Barnes and Noble, I would sit in the middle of the floor like a weirdo, and I would look at all these picture books and start reading stuff, right? I'd grab my favorite drink and just sit there for hours, right? Then I would take myself to a movie. I started going to these interesting and beautiful places to hike, right? I started meeting other people that were okay being alone, not lonely, but could be alone. And that was not the end of the world. They actually enjoyed being by themselves and taking themselves on dates and just playing in life, right? Just for the sake of it. So start doing that. And then number 3, coaching. Hire some help. Okay, so hear me out. This now in my life is my go-to strategy. It was not for a long time. I didn't even know it could be a strategy, but it is the best strategy. So I didn't know how to care for me. I didn't know how to nurture me. I didn't know how to support me for the longest time, right? Hence the full-blown crazy addiction that I could not get out of, right? So I didn't know how to care for me for the longest time. And I just saw so many people that escaped life, whether that was through workaholism, alcoholism, so many things, right? So I didn't know how to care for me. So I had to start learning how to really invest in myself. And so I did invest in therapy. That was something, but that wasn't helping me change my reality. And that wasn't helping me really understand what to do with my narrative, right? I'm just like, okay, I kind of have an understanding for how these things happen, what it is that I was experiencing, but like, now what? I have no idea, right? So I didn't know how to change my reality, but what coaches are great at doing is helping you mine your soul, discover truth, and really embody and live into your version of success. Okay, so I literally, since I wasn't sitting with me, since I wasn't supporting me, so I wasn't drawing out the greatness within me, I couldn't even see it. All I could see was what was wrong with me, not what was right with me, right? Perfectionism, high achievement, people-pleasing, codependency, all those things prevent you from seeing who you are. So I couldn't see me, quite literally. So I had to pay somebody to help me see me. I couldn't see it. And if I can't see me, I'm probably not going to ever be me. And I'm going to accept way less than I deserve in life. So hire some help, right? Humble yourself and hire some help. Because if we don't self-initiate this, if we don't actually support ourselves, if we're not able to sit down and actually mine our soul ourselves, we need somebody to help us do that, or we're never going to do it. And we're always going to live somebody else's version of success. And strangely enough, we'll resent them for it because we're not willing to go for it. It's so interesting how that can happen. So make the vision plain. Live, really live your most courageous and impactful story. And we'd totally love to champion you to do this. We'd love to support you inside the Courage Co community. The Courage Co community is really a training hub, okay? This is discipleship on a whole nother level, all right? There's group programs and there's a plethora of opportunities to really help you do the exploits that only you can and be supported in doing those. So you can join weekly virtual small groups literally every day of the week. You can join us for bi-monthly prophetic prayer calls, which are super powerful. We also record these with all of the scripture references, so you can go back and re-listen and study. We have the God's Vibes Mastermind. Again, this is closing Monday, 6/3. So if you want to enroll in that, email info@julianapage.com. We will give you the details, or just simply enroll using the link in the show notes. Very quick. Takes you only a couple minutes, okay? And then there's also a Spirit-Driven Success Life Coach Certification Program. There's prophetic monthly training. There's the 30-day faith walking program if you just want to do something that's a little more bite-size. There's the Courage Co training bundle. The way I view this too is just literally replacing whatever your reality TV fix is, right? Prime, Amazon, Hulu, whatever it is for you. Like literally cut that off and just do this for a year and watch your life change. Okay? So we really just want to help you reach new heights. So think about this as like an inner gym. and boot camp for your soul. Like, yes, physical strength is one thing, but the strength that you can give your spirit, something entirely different, and it's truly what you need to transform your life. So join us today. Get plugged into Courage Co. Also, if you want a breakthrough coaching session, literally some folks didn't know that we offer that, but we literally offer one-on-one breakthrough coaching sessions. So it's a 60-minute call, and we're going to get your breakthrough. It is amazing how God shows up on these calls. So if you just want a quick session, that's available as well. We have details about that and how you can book it in the show notes as well. Okay, and if you just want a quick link to that, aren't sure how to get to those things if you're on the phone, just do this. Email info@julianapage.com, breakthrough session, and we'll send you the link to sign up for that. Okay? All right, y'all. Don't be scared. Be strong and very courageous. Make the change that you alone can make. Go for it. Be the one that goes for it, and join a community of other people that are doing it just alongside you. We are your spiritual running buddies. We can't wait to lock arms and help you win. All right, y'all. I hope this blessed you. And until next time, stay blessed. Listen, if you are not plugged into Courage Co. yet, what are you doing? Courage Co. is a faith-based community off social media that you can access from your phone or your desktop, literally from anywhere. It is a safe place and a sacred space for you to invest in and live your most courageous and impactful story. You can join us for free for prayer calls and challenges, for a monthly subscription where we have monthly masterclasses, or the God's Vibes Mastermind, where you will get live master life coaching at a price that you won't get anywhere else. 12 weeks of content that we will go through together, or you can navigate at your own pace. You'll have lifetime access to that. A community of women doing this alongside of you, a workbook, and so many other materials to help you on your journey. And I just want you to imagine for a second, having the courage, clarity, and focus to achieve anything you desire. Walking into any situation fully confident, knowing you have everything you need to succeed. Embracing challenges and overcoming obstacles with grace and ease. Feeling only love and compassion for others, no matter how they may have hurt you in the past. Standing up for what you believe in and taking unstoppable action to create the kind of world you want to live in. You're in the right place to take your next step on your journey. When you plug into the God's Vibes Mastermind, I'll teach you how to identify and eliminate the self-limiting beliefs and habits that are stopping you from getting the results you want. I'll teach you how to heal old wounds that have negatively impacted your self-image and self-esteem for far too long. I'll show you how to dismantle the story of who you are and what you can or cannot do in the world. I'll help you expand your consciousness from fear-based limitation to love and compassion and service to the world. I'll help you vanquish the inner enemies that are stopping you from being all that you can be. Release your victimhood and reclaim your power. Develop a aligned mindset and habits to boost your productivity and results. Gain deeper awareness of your own inner light and divinity, and achieve the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual self-mastery needed to achieve any goal. You will learn how to think the way God formed, shaped, and anointed you to think, and succeed the way He always intended, and show up in any situation as the most powerful person in the room, no matter what challenges might appear on your path. If this sounds like something that you want to be a part of, I want to invite you to join the God's Vibes Mastermind. You can get plugged into it over at Courage Co. You can access Courage Co. at any level at www.courageco.org. Together, we will awaken your inner warrior spirit and unleash your capacity to achieve any goal you can imagine. You will become an example of what's possible with God.